Hello and welcome to the third video in our worship leader training series. We've already asked what is worship and who is a worship leader, and this time our question is, who are you leading? So why are we asking this question? Well, if as worship leaders we're going to help God's people respond to his mercy and come into his presence, then we need to understand the people we're with. It's an act of love and service to understand our context and adapt our leading where we need to. This does mean, though, that this training video is only going to be useful to a certain extent because you will know your community better than I do. If anything, let this video be a prompt for you to ask yourself, do I know my church family? And do I know my church vision? In other words, who are we and why are we here? And I can't say exactly what the answers to those questions will be for you. That said, I can still share a few things that are common to most Antioch churches which feed into how we lead worship. So, Antioch churches are small, usually between about 20 and 50 adults. So it's not a stadium. And this can be a challenge because people can sometimes feel inhibited singing in a small church because you can see and hear each other more than you would in a massive, loud space. But there is a real benefit here. If people feel comfortable, a small church moves more easily towards participation in worship and prayer than a big church, which can drift towards performance. Antioch churches also grow by replanting, rather than expanding beyond this small size. So training leaders is always a high priority, and you might want to think about this in your worship leadership. How can I involve, encourage, and equip other people? We also usually meet in accessible shared spaces rather than in church buildings, and this is especially relevant for your team size and your tech requirements. You're likely to be setting up and packing down every week, so work in small teams and travel light. Antioch churches also embrace linguistic and cultural diversity, and we'll explore this more in the next video, but this has a big effect on song choice, repetitions of songs week by week, and even the musical styles you play in. We're also active in evangelism through diverse networks. Antioch churches are meant to reach new people, so you'll want to be thinking as you lead worship, is this accessible to someone new? Now that doesn't mean somebody coming to church for the first time has to understand everything you do. But you do want somebody coming new to feel comfortable enough to stay and to come again. And there are some other common elements to Antioch churches like cultures of hospitality, awareness of poverty and destitution, and lay leadership. And these will affect your worship leading depending on how they play out in your church. So we're touching on a lot of elements here that don't instantly seem like worship, but it is all connected. The context, the people, your church's culture and vision will all shape how you lead and how the church worships. And some of these things, like culture and even to some extent vision, can be shaped by worship leading too. That leads us towards our next video, which is the first in a mini-series on values for worship in Antioch churches. Accessible, prayerful, passionate. See you then.